Yeah. Well, so's this Batrider pick. It is confusing me though. I was kind of like sorting around in my head where they wanted to go with their lanes, but now I'm like, okay, I think you're right. Pango is 4 with OD and Bat's going mid.
Yep.
Unless they're putting Batrider in the off lane and Pango's the 4.
Please no! Batrider is not an off-laner, Sheepo.
The ghost of Ghost Stick is here.
Okay, I'm down to stick with Spirit Breaker Core at this point in time and get myself a Dispelling 5. But that's probably not going to happen. It's probably three Bloodseeker, 4 Rubik, and then...
What Dispelling 5 would you have?
Oracle?
Oracle's dead. Do you pick Oracle?
Oracle's fine. He's been picked up
Baden?
a bunch.
Bunch?
A bunch, yeah. Well, I say a bunch. I mean, at least once.
Okay, fair.
At least.
I like the Abaddon better, personally.
I'm okay with Oracle because you have 3 heroes that go in. So if you like charge up your whatever it's called, your Q.
Fortune's End.
Thank you, Fortune's End. Who plays support, man? Not me. I don't know spell names. If you charge up Fortune's End on Spirit Breaker Storm, they can both go in with it. It's like okay. Abaddon obviously a little bit more passive. I like what Cap said about him in the past though as a body.
Why did they ban Medusa?
They're thinking that's Spiritbreaker 5, Bloodseeker 3.
No.
Oh, because OD.
They've got OD, they've got Pango, they've got Batrider. Why did they ban Medusa? I'm mad. I'm actually mad that they did that. Pango disarms, is just really good team fight against you. OD steals a ton of mana away from you. And Batrider is one of those, like, I don't run out of damage heroes. You know? You get on top of the Medusa and she's like, oh shit, this sucks. I'm going to burn to death.
Maybe it's because they feel like they just don't want a hero like Medusa that is so tanky that they don't want to initiate on with Batrider.
They don't want to deal with any hard carry.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because they got rid of the Terrorblade as well, which is not the best in this matchup either.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't understand Dota.
Maybe.
That's what I feel like all the time.
Spend too long sitting on your butt.
What was that, Abba?
It was an aneurysm I was having on this panel, I'm sorry. It's gone, it's good.
Okay.
I'm glad the aneurysm passed quickly.
So, I don't know. Wraith King is a nice hero. He's gonna like not care about getting ruptured by Bloodseeker just because of that second life.
He wasn't your target to begin with, but okay.
He wasn't, but like if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, like giving you more problems is the thing, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Bloodseeker's like, okay, I rupture Pango, life is good, but now
Or
it's like,
Batrider.
well, I want to rupture Batrider, but I also want to rupture your offlaner, your carry. Like they just have so many things. It makes the Bloodseeker pick worse.
To me, this rating pick seems like they're sticking to their guns that Bloodseeker's offlane. Because if he's offlane, you go for the Axe build. The double rupture, it's like, okay, Pango, but he's a 4, not that big a deal. Batrider, maybe OD, right? Not that great. He's carry, though. Fog, give me this lecture about how wonderful the shard is, and I'm with him on this. Wraith King somewhat stands his ground against Bloodseeker, but not that great. You can actually easily kite him with your Thirst. You can easily kill people around him. He is kind of a Terrorblade in teamfights sometimes where he can't move. I actually like TNC's draft better.
I like the Razor for sure.
I think Razor's great.
I like the Razor for the fact that I just said that it annoys me that the Bloodseeker's in this position where he can only like stop one core. Razor helps stop another core.
That's true.
That's
Yeah, that's Wraith King done.
Well, yeah.
Show me that's his target.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, Razor's really good against Wraith King because not only are you just like, oh, that's a melee hero, I'm going to be able to kite and steal his damage, but also because you don't run out of damage, right? Your Eye of the Storm, especially the double Eye of the Storm, it's going to stay on, right? Your TVs, Monkey Kings, like these are heroes that represent like, I pop a certain thing and I'm not running out of damage for another 30 seconds, you know? So, I like that choice quite a bit. I think that was pretty good.
I will say, I feel like Batrider can do a pretty good job this game.
Oh, yeah.
He can take over the game
If
pretty hard.
If he can win that mid lane matchup and get a kill against Storm Spirit before he's level 6, get that fast boots of travel, then you know he can really go off in this game. So watch for that mid lane matchup between Bob and Yahweh.
They also have OD, so what can you say? Execration.
Okay, Cap?
TNC, let's go. First win, baby.
All right. Yeah, let's go. TNC. First win. Will they be able to do it? We're going to have to see. I like their draft. Will we like their playstyle? I'm not sure. But we'll like the cast because we have a wonderful duo here. It's hopefully MLP Dota and JohnXfire.
Wow. We almost got forgotten about there, Jonathan, but it is MLP Dota and JohnXfire. Thank you very much, Mr. Avo Plus? Mr. Avo Plus. There we go. Thank you very much, Mr. Avo Plus. John, they did mention TNC, they haven't picked up a game, right? No wins right now for TNC. Is this the game? Is this the draft? Is this what they need?
I think so. I think TNC, again, the last time we faced against Execration was in Mineski Masters. They managed to do that 2-1. So I think Execration is a team that they sort of understand, they sort of read well, and they sort of know how to play against. So we'll see if they bring that pressure out. I do think that Execration does have ways of working it really well. Like, the matchup for Bob is going to be great. We've seen Bob pop off on his Batrider against these Spirit Brothers every single time. I think they should be able to manage that just fine. Shut down Yoe, as we've talked to TNC a couple of times, right? They say Yoe is really the key on mid. A lot of teams seem to think that as well. So if you keep his mid in check, prevent him from getting his early items, say the Orchid or Kaya on the Storm that we tend to see, it's going to throw off their timings, because Young God might want to run around early on as a Razor along with Xiao Yu, but you won't have that jump in from your Storm. And outside of the Spirit Breaker charging in, he is like an early level, like support. So it's going to be harder for him to line up. And we've got that beautiful view again from our producer, Mr. Pitian. Lovely as always, scouting around.
Yeah,
it's going to be an issue if you
Pitian,
fall
John.
behind there.
You wouldn't shut up there for a second. The poor man was trying to give you a space so he could show off his little statue there. You wouldn't give him a chance. Thank you, Pythian. I apologize for John's never-ending point that he's trying to make. John, what was the point? Can we get a TLDR?
Stupid.
If Yoe loses this lane, it's going to be hard for TNC. Like, they're going to rely more on Yoe to jump in. I think everyone realizes for TNC that Yoe is the target to go for. Every team we've interviewed says that, so I think Bob is set up to kind of keep that in check here.
Thank you for that, Jonathan.
Alright,
I
guys, I know
apologize
we
for
probably
the
lost this
rudeness.
game,
I
but we
didn't
can
mean to
still
interrupt. Just appreciate art when I see it. Speaking of art, that is a very nice stick in mid lane. What is that? That's the that's from Naruto, right? That's the look. The you wouldn't know, but the headband.
I would know. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I think that is Jack, right? That's Jack, all costumed up.
Yeah.
Looking good. Beautiful
Well, I
sticker.
hope it's Jack. Yeah.
I know what you're missing, though. You're missing the boom stickers, aren't you, Mike? The furry.
I am.
I know you like them. You love them. You can't get enough of them.
That's what you're gonna do. I've already had a rough morning, Jonathan, and now you're gonna bring this up again, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Someone
Never ends
actually
well.
tagged me in a tweet today, John, saying I apologize, but I finally figured out what your name stands for, what the MLP stands for. So there you go. If you wanted to know, just go on Twitter or Facebook, look up MLP Dota. You'll see it's nothing to do with ponies, all right? It's nothing to do with ponies. And that's why I was so happy. I was so happy, John, that we had Mr. Avo come in as a host, because now there's two people that have no idea how to pick a good name, right? He went with the avocado side of things, and I went with the pony side of things.
You guys are all sorts wrong. Still, what's not wrong are the lanes breaking out. Some early aggression already coming through up top. You've got Kimizu on that OD, along with Carlo on his Pango, up against Young God and Febby on that Spirit Breaker and Razor. And this is a lane that I think early on TNC can play really aggressive with. They do have the Plasma Field instead of Static Link. I guess your Link target in Carlo is a bit hard to really hammer in, especially since he can fight back with Shield Crash. It does take a bit longer for the Spirit Breaker to hit the spike here, Mike. Like, you've got the bash up, you don't have charge, so you only really can poke and prod, but Carlo and Kimizu can kind of punish that, so it's maybe a bit more passive for TNC. But once they hit level 2, maybe level 3, they can look to kind of put some pressure here.
That they certainly can, and you're already seeing Young God trying to static link up this OD, but bot lane is... Whoa, now we're looking back at top lane. Yeah, Young God, he was static linking up this OD. Dealing with it just fine, though. Kimizu able to walk away in time, and... Well, we do have a quick pause out. I did want a pause to happen, Jonathan, because we haven't talked about this yet. You recently got accepted to the Twitch Partner Program. Congratulations.
Yes, thank
very,
you.
very good to see, John.
Thank
How
you.
does it feel to finally be a partner and have the tick next to your name?
It feels great. I forgot to turn it on one time when he jumped into chat, so I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
Embarrassing.
It's nice, it's nice. I'm finally joining the ranks of you, Mike. You've been showing off your tick for a while, and I'm finally there. I'm happy to finally be recognized in some random internet spot. It's not much, but I'll take what I can get, Mike.
I mean, take it as a positive, John. I didn't even get accepted. I got denied 3 times. And eventually, because we were doing SEA lower division last year. I guess they couldn't decline me anymore. So there you go, John. I didn't even earn it. I just got it for free.
It's the name, Mike. You throw a lot of people off. You gotta admit, I don't think it helped right there. I think Twitch took a look and was like, we don't really trust this guy with his name. We don't know what he does. Could be pretty suspect here.
Might also have something to do with the DMCA that happened years ago, John. We won't go into that one today, though, as bot lane playhard's dropping very, very low. Nando and Vincenzo just warding Xiao Yu off, as he was trying to get onto Nando. This laning phase, Xiao Yu's having a great old time so far in this Bloodseeker, and it does feel like all the lanes right now for TNC are going very well.
Yeah, they're managing to get a little bit more farm, hold out in the pressure. Even the mid lane coming out here for Yoa is going a lot better up against Bob. He's still keeping up in CS. He's not really harassed out. Bob does have his level 3 lined up, so he can go for the Flamebake or Firefly, but he's not really finding the opportunity to pressure that Storm, and they haven't blocked off the camp as well. So Yoa can just dip into the small camp when lane shoved out, keep farming up, keep building up into those initial item spikes online, rush to level 6, and if Yoa is kept on check, if he does hit 6, it's going to be really hard to pin him down. That's the one worry I have here for Execration, because that level 6 timing between these two mids is so pivotal to set that pace.
Yeah, no, certainly so. Right now, 0 kills on the map, though. Both teams being quite conservative, though. Top lane, Febby going to try and get aggressive. Does get a double bash going. Carlo going to continue the chase with the swashbuckle out. Febby falling low. Astral's going to be there, but the Arcane Orb did not connect. Slightly early there from Kimizu with the Astral out, and that does actually save Febby's life.
Yeah. Playing on edge, you do have that little spike here for TNC, but the same thing goes for the side of Execration as well. They've got the 1-1-1 on Kimizu, so full arsenal of skills is there. He can spam out his Arcane Orb as well. And Carlo at level 2 can poke and prod a lot better with a Swash. And Febby can try charging, but the follow-up isn't the best. I think ideally you'd have Young God already static linking a target. And up against these two, again, you can break the static link with Swashbuckle, you can just kind of Astral and walk away, so there's no real easy way for Young God to just start and then have the charge come in. It feels like they have to start with either a bash or a charge from Febby, and again, for him to just right-click down one of these heroes, it's not something you want to do. It's just not safe for a Spirit Breaker to trade hits with those two heroes.
No, certainly not. Febby, he's still alive, though. Hasn't died quite yet, so, as long as he lives, doesn't feed too many kills away. Happy days for TNC. Back over to that mid lane, I think a concerning sign is going to be the fact that Bob is starting to overtake the mid lane, and he did just high-five that tier 1 tower, John. You can do that now, even though we haven't got the new tower there, so it looked kind of stupid, but, you can do that. As bot lane, we are maybe going to have First Blood flying out. You did have a very low Vincenzo, but now Xiao Yu's in trouble. And the Hadouken gets it done as mid lane. They even found Yoen. Well, naturally, Bob, he has to throw the tip out. In fact, he might have another. I mean, Firefly's over. He might continue chasing if he can de-aggro this tower, but no. He'll leave Febby be, just not having faith that he can get the damage up.
And that's the level 6 spike we were talking about, Mike. Level 6 comes faster for Bob. He gets the kill. He doesn't even have to use Lasso yet. He just has enough coming through the sticky napalm. And you run down the storm. So you manage to get that edge now here for Bob, saving up for those travels. Still a long ways off. And eventually Yoa will get his 6 anyway, but he's still half a level away. So it's risky for him to come in lane because Bob has all the tools needed to keep that storm in check.
That he does. We've seen Bob before, and this Batrider, just a very, very dangerous player when it comes to this hero. And that's when he turns into Bob the Wrecker and just makes life very, very hard. Still, 2-0 right now. TNC yet to pick up their first kill of the game. Vincenzo now looking to move into the dire triangle and start harassing Yoe. Yoe's still level 5, so he does take the bounty, but he has to be very, very careful because this can happen. He got greedy and he's going to get punished. Oh, he was literally one creep off level 6, John. One creep.
Yeah. Just not having the patience, playing a bit too forward. I mean, he must feel safe, but we've seen this from Enchantresses before, especially Vincenzo, right? He plays the Ench, he always rotates onto the triangle, prevents the mid from getting too many good top-ups. Carlo's dropping low, but does manage to still run off.
Yeah, he does. He got double bashed there by Febby, but again, does not really end up dying as Bob in the meantime does end up picking off play hard for the 4th kill of the game here for Execration. So a very dominant game thus far from this Radiant team. Zhao Yu now bot lane is going to be chased down a little bit. A nice ensnare out. Vincenzo setting up for the Wraithfire Blast, and Zhao Yu is going to drop again. You've got to give real props here to Vincenzo's top lane. They do pick up their first kill of the game here for TNC. Young God able to pick up the kill onto Kimizu. But back to my point, Jonathan. Vincenzo, just a fantastic job so far in this Enchantress.
Yeah, he's just been rotating into the triangle. He manages to get a nice forward ward this time around. And he's just keeping constant check on TNC. He knows they're going to be playing a bit more passive. He knows they're going to look for that farm on Yoe. So he's just denying control of that area. And that just allows Nando to get some free farm going. The matchup against Bloodseeker is not something that he can completely bully out of
So it's going to make it there in time. Febby, he was trying his best to just help out. Yoe, he's around. He needs to help if he wants to right now, but he won't. Febby is going to drop Bob and Kimizu, able to set up 2 kills top lane. They do have a siege creep at that tier 1 tower if they want to keep going. Kimizu, he might try for it. I mean, you can still get plenty of damage off here with this Meteor Hammer and the siege creep.
Yeah. Creep does die, but that's the big spike now for the OD. They've got a lot of damage, and they can just push around, look for the setup, look for the kills. It might be a bit hard to hammer in a Storm, but if you get your timing right, it's also going to be easy to keep Yoa in check. And our Storm's already just playing jungle, but look at Vincenzo's creep. Just keeping track every time they know he's farming there. They could look to make a move here if they want to.
Oh, it's really good Enchantress play. I've got to tell you, John, this is very, very good play here from Vincenzo. Like, just being able to have the presence of mind to understand the Storm is going to jungle and then just microing the creep to follow it. It's very, very annoying. And I believe that slam he did with the Hellbear Smasher actually took 2 of the large creeps away. So very frustrating to have to deal with here for Yoe.
Yeah, it's a slow start for the Storm, and this is one of the issues for TNC. Like, again, you want to kind of run fast with your Bloodseeker and Razor. They don't necessarily want to sit and farm around too much in the mid game, but you're going to have to wait for your Storm to really come in. He is your main jump in to follow up on your Spirit Breaker. Everyone else just doesn't have that same movement out, and it's going to make it a lot harder to hook up for fights.
Yeah, Febby. I'm not sure about that charge, Febby. He'll get punished for it. Obviously not realizing there was still people around. Bob, he'll take his 5th kill of the game already.
Stupid. Brave.
Tough times for TNC.
Stupid.
8-1 now, but more importantly, a 3k net worth advantage the way of Execration.
And it's massive. Like, that's going to be really early travels for Bob. He's going to be all around the map, clearing out creeps, getting farm up, can set up easily now for the lassos as well. And for TNC, sure, Young God's kind of keeping up in farm. He's not too far behind, maybe like a 200 gold difference on that pause 1. Everyone else is really sacrificed. So Xiao Yu's farm is a bit behind. He's trying to rush towards the Atos. Still a ways off. No phase boots up as well to kind of enable that. And Yo is the big one that's hurt. Like, he just has no jungle to play in. He's not safe anywhere on the map he tries to farm in. Excretion's done a fantastic job of shutting down that win condition on the mid.
And it's literally just Vincenzo. I mean, it's literally just this Enchantress. I mean, sure, you had the kill from the Batrider solo mid lane, but just the fact that this Enchantress will not leave the poor man alone is just slowing him down so much. They will try to make a play on to play hard, but he'll still the swashbuckle and just remove himself from that situation. But it does seem like Execration now are slowly preparing to go after that mid-tier 1. And when you've got an Enchantress already at level 7, by the way, John, 10.5 minutes in, it's going to be very easy to take this tier 1 tower, because you have the level 3 enchant, and more importantly, you have the Meteor Hammer there from Kimizu to make life even better.
Yeah, it's just such an easy siege that forces the Fortify out. The side of TNC are kind of clumping bot, looking to get their own push going, and Yoe.
They've got Bob. Bob, he was right under the Sentry Ward, and they just wait very patiently. That's what you want to see from TNC. Finding those big, valuable pickoffs in Young God. He does take the mega kill streak away from Bob. But mid lane is still being forced in. They're going to come in to try and defend, but it's all too late. Kimizu, he does get the tier 1 tower, and well, Bob, he won't mind dying for that, John. That's a very valuable objective to get this early on.
And they're still going to be able to TP in time for the defense bot as well.
Absolutely. They'll go for a fight. They go right after Yoe. He does have plenty of mana as Febby. He's going to try and charge in. Carlo, he might just go for the Rolling Thunder, but no, never mind that, because Bob's here. He has the lasso up if he needs to use it, but it doesn't seem like he does, or maybe not. Astral will do the job. Kimizu able to take that kill for himself. That'll be another kill to go the way of Execration. Mind you, John, they do lose that bottom tier 1, but, you know, you're going to lose it eventually.
It's still a really strong trade for Execration. No free objectives for TNC. They still lose heroes in trying to get that push. And they're kind of forced back from bot jungle anyway. So they can't even farm in the area that they've opened up for Young God and for Yoa and for Xiao Yu. They're still forced to play in the top jungle. Guess who's watching? Vincenzo's still there.
He is, but this time around, he might be in trouble. They try to chase him down with the static link out, but he's got untouchable. You can't kill him. And now the lasso's there from Bob. Onto the cliff, down back onto the low ground. Wherever you throw him, it doesn't really matter because Xiao Yu is going to drop. And this Enchantress, I mean, I keep saying it, John, he's been very, very annoying. And this is one of those performances where if you're Yoe on this Storm, you just feel like rage quitting right now. He has no chance. He has less net worth than Vincenzo does. That's how bad this game's gone.
It's such a slow start. And Storm can flash farm fast. It's just that he doesn't have any space to do so. He's working the bot jungle now. They need a Storm to hit at least one item. Like, hit at least the Orchid. You can try to play around, get the charge, follow up with a silence, try to burst one of the heroes down before a response can come through, rinse and repeat. It does feel like TNC's missing out in that window, though. Like, their mid-game is when you'd expect something like the Razor and Bloodseeker to be really strong and to have your Spirit Breaker online to charge in. It just doesn't feel like they have enough to enable any of those heroes to run around. Like, only Young God really has the farm right now, and that's a Razor rushing a BKB. He has to have some follow-up to help him set up, and no one's really ready for that. Whereas for Execration, we've been talking about Bob, his BKBs. Halfway through, Kimizu is working onto what seems to be an Aether Lens as well, so added reach for him to set up with the imprisonment into Hammer, and Vincenzo is just running around. You know, just constantly scouting. Like, we've seen this from Vincenzo from a long time back, way back when he was still RR, right? Like, constantly from that Radiant Edge going into the triangle, shutting down the map. TNC, they'll try to make a smoke play, but they don't really have forward vision here, Mike. They don't see anyone. They get scanned out.
Yeah, that's a great scan. That's going to be problematic because now Bob's going to bait them. Play hard, he'll show himself. Yeah, Power Rune, though, going to be down to the bot side, so Yoe, he'll go ahead and take that. Back into the jungle for the Stormers. Well, you're even looking at top lane where Febby, he has to try and deal with these skeletons, and even that's proving to be a bit too much here for the poor Spirit Breaker. The smoke is out. Execration, they'll head through to the bot jungle. They know that this Storm is somewhere in there. So you can't really farm triangle, rather take it away from your Razor. In bot lane, he will show. Luckily, Yoe, he still has the haste rune and he still has plenty of mana. He'll zip TP away. He'll be just fine. It's a nice little force of the rotation there from our Storm, and Execration, they're not really going to have too much to do down at this bot side.
Just a little bit of time wasted from Execration. I don't think they mind too much. That is giving room for TNC to work the map a bit better. Like, their top jungle is relatively free because of that movement. You are getting some room for Xiao Yu and for Young God to kind of farm up. The process is still sort of slow. And Execration can just kind of set up now. They've got the blink on Bob. He bypasses the BKB. So they've got really easy lasso setup now, just from the Storm alone. From the bat alone, they can look to make a play here if they want to.
Yeah, they're going to try. Yoe, again, could be targeted, but he will zip away. Still, Bob has a blink up. He won't go for it, though. A blink lasso is there for the bat, but just didn't feel confident enough to make the jump in. That's fair. The very least, TNC has bought time now for Young God to have his BKB up, and it looks like they are finally ready to smoke up as a team. And perhaps try to force a team fight with this BKB. It is one of those drafts. You do want to get active early on, so if there's ever been timing, this is probably it. Problem is, though, you have shown off the BKB now, so it's not like it's going to come as a surprise here, but they are smoked up right behind Young God. Try to use him as bait. Still, Vincenzo going to be around to break the smoke, as Yoe will have his smoke broken. Can't do really much about it.
Yeah, and they had a good ward spotting that area as well, so if anyone was sticking right close to that ramp, smoke would have revealed beforehand anyway. So they managed to just cut them off. Again, Vincenzo doing a lot of good work, just scouting, working the map, getting information for the team, and keeping the farm game going. We're really seeing huge escalation coming out from Nando. Desolator coming out here, Mike. So Wraith King with Deso with the armlet, that could signal Roche next as well.
Yoe, Media Hammer, has he timed it right? Yeah, he has. Sanity's dropped. No messing around from Kimizu. Oh boy, he's not even 5k net worth right now on this Storm Spirit. As now Bob, he's going to find play hard, and that should be another. You may not even need the lasso for this, or maybe you did, though never mind. They've got the enchant there. That'll slow him down long enough. And that might just be top tier 2 tower. I mean, you take that, you go into the outpost, and then you just take Roshan.
Yeah, lines up perfectly with that Desolator flying up for Nando in the middle of that fight. So they can easily just take control, get a second life up and going, perhaps for Bob or Kimizu or whoever they feel they need to, and run from there. They're not even going to go for the tower. It looks like they're just going to rush the Roshan with the Deso up. They've got a lot of damage from Kimizu here as well. And for TNC, they don't have the best team fight. Like, they really just don't have team fight control. Blood right area denial is really it. Side of Execration will play it maybe a bit safer. Look to shove out waves first so they can see the angles if there is someone running in. But they've got that option. And they've hit big item spikes on Execration for TNC. I mean, the BKB and Razor is nice. They've got the Atos up on Xiao Yu, so at the least you can catch someone in Blood Right and kind of line up and help Young God get a little bit more from his static link. Doesn't feel like enough though.
Well, they've at least got the Pango, but the Astral again is there. Kimizu going to make sure the Blood Right does not land. Carlo, he'll be safe. And they see Vincenzo, but they do not want to try after that Enchantress. We've seen what happens if they do try. So Roshan is still standing. Execration, they didn't fully commit to try and finish off that Roshan. TNC, it does seem like their main goal is to try and force in that tier 1 mid, but you've got to commit to a fight. There's no way it's going down unless they get a few kills here on the side of TNC. So they'll smoke up a spawn, they'll try to wrap around the long way, hoping someone's at the top lane, but nobody's going to be around. So Nando, he's back into the Roshan pit.
That's big. They don't have vision here on TNC on the Rosh pit as well. They have a ward on a ramp now, north side, but no one's standing there. So they have no clue the Rosh is being taken. They're going to miss out on the opportunity, and Execration will now have 2 lives up. It's going to be a lot harder to deal with perhaps Nando. He freed up the slot, so 3 lives in Wraith King at this point.
Oh no, and they've got Xiao Yu with the lasso out. It just keeps getting worse, John. I mean, no vision over the Roshan pit. It's bad enough, but well, then you get caught straight after. It's just not getting any better for TNC this game.
No, it's a massive deficit here as well. 9k lead up for Execration, 13-2. TNC aren't finding enough openings. It's
Stupid.
You know, when you have a Spirit
Brave,
Breaker support, it just feels like
Stupid.
you have to be running around, right? You have a Razor, you have a Bloodseeker, you want to catch people out with the smokes. They just haven't been able to find the angles. They've been smoking in mid out of vision from that Radiant ward, so they've kind of had that surprise factor going, but they just don't have the forward vision to allow them to get targets. Like, they have this one ward on the bot jungle that no one's playing in. It doesn't work, although lasso on Kimizu at least.
Yeah, there is. They'll try onto the OD with the Orchid out. They should have enough control and damage. That could be the start of good things to come for TNC, as that is their 3rd kill of the game. Feels like they haven't gotten a kill for the last 15 minutes. The charge is out, onto the Pango, Carlo, he'll be ruptured up, Yulceptor will be there, but the charge is incoming. He'll try to swash, but he doesn't have the mana now for the Rolling Thunder, and there was no way out anyway. Not with the rupture, so TNC able to find 2 pretty big pickoffs for themselves, and maybe they can afford to go after that mid-tier 1 now.
They can. They've got the numbers advantage. Respawns aren't too far off, though. And their damage onto the towers isn't exactly the best. So they're going to have to temper their expectations there. But they've got pretty good bounce back in. 7k gold. They dropped it by 1k. A good scan again from Execration, though, to allow Bob to get the safety. TNC, though, showing us where the roster is strong. You know, where this hero lineup is strong is that single target pickoff. They've got the jump in with a charge. With the Storm now having the Orchid, Yoa's got a lot more control and instant burst on hand. So I think that's where TNC will have to play. Sort of a run-and-gun style, look for stragglers, get better information on the map. I think that top ward definitely helped them out in catching Kimizu alone. Still, Execration aren't really set back, man. They just smoke up, they're going to try again.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, in the meantime, Nando, he gets a top tier 2. Basically for free. Well, Execration, they roam through that mid lane. Keep in mind, they still have the Aegis up on their Wraith King for another 3 minutes, so 3 lives to deal with on Nando, and he'll join this time around as they get the lasso. Astral will save from Play Hard. A nice save out from that Rubik. So Zhao Yu, he can try to turn back around. There's your BKB and the link up from Young God. Astral will buy some time. It's not looking good though. Not for the Batrider as Bob. He will drop. They'll keep going. Bebby, he gets another strike out. Carlo will be the second to drop. Sanities is out. Yoes drop, but they've got Kamizu. Not a bad team fight whatsoever for TNC. They lose Yoe, but he's not really worth too much at the moment anyway. It's a 3-for-1.
A massive win for TNC, and Execration maybe just playing a bit too split. I think you have to have Nando around now for these fights, because that's the factor that will make TNC think twice about their spell use, right? Like, the panel touched on it. Do you want to ignore the Wraith King entirely because he has 2 lives? Do you want to try to burn down his first life, try to handle the second life after dropping staggered uses of spells in each phase? And that's where Execration kind of come out on top, especially with the Aegis. But Nando's been much more happy just farming up, kind of cut off from his team, can't really contribute. Execration, despite that early lead, still don't have the early BKBs to help themselves against all that control as well. So they're very vulnerable to that jump in with the Orchid there on Yoe. I think maybe if they want to keep running aggressive, they're going to have to play closer together as a team or wait out those items, because BKBs aren't too far off for Bob. Kimizu, his Ags is still a ways off, so he's not going to be protected, but once you do have that double Astral, yeah, we've seen the saving potential of that Mike. It's pretty hard to play against.
Well, the Atos Rupture is there onto Bob, but Zhao Yu, he's still caught out, but the TPs are coming in. TNC, they'll try to fight. Young God, right after that Bob Batrider as Yoe, he jumps in. They've got the OD trapped up with the link, but no, it's not enough, but it is with the Orchid. Bob, he's dropped as well, but now they've got the Razor. Young God, he'll try to BKB and just walk himself out, but Nando, he's there with a big hit out, finishing off the job, and they even found Bevy. Still 2 great pickoffs for TNC, but just not enough in the end.
Oh, Yoe, he's not safe.
Oh, they've got another Yoe. He's quite low on mana. I don't really see a great way out for him. That'll be about it. He'll keep trying to run, but there is no running.
Stupid.
It's a full team wipe coming out from Execration. They managed to make it work. They lose their 2 big heroes, but Nando is now the major issue. Right, because you can focus down the OD, you can focus down the Batrider while they don't have their protective items. What do you do about the Wraith King? Because you're dropping static blink on one hero, you're rupturing the other, you ignore the Wraith King. So you still have this massive 2-life hero to worry about, and oh no.
Yeah, Zhao Yu. He just cannot escape the grasp of Bob. They get the Yules off on Play Hard. Carlo, he'll think about the Rolling Thunder, but well, Nando, he does have his Aegis expire, so they don't want to go too much further. No need to throw away this lead. They can just move in to that tier 2 mid tower and work on that final outer tower of TNC, and it'll be no problem.
Yeah. Can't really stop that push. I mean, they have some wave clear, but the Bloodseeker's dead, and he's your main source, so no outer control anymore for TNC. It's going to be hard for them to find any sort of catch-up form in the jungle, and we've kind of seen that be an issue before the towers fell anyway. Execration's been on point in shutting down areas where TNC wants to farm. TNC haven't been able to play in the bot jungle as much as they'd like to, despite opening that area up slightly with a tier 1 take. And the item timings just aren't lining up. Like, we're seeing Yoa try to save for travel, no protection for the storm later.
Vortex out, they've got the Pango. Carlo is going to go down, so TNT again finding a nice pick off back mid lane. Bob, no, it's the Wraith King. They found Nando, but can they get through 2 lives is the real question. They'll lift him up, drag him back down. Bebby, a nice charge out, getting the bash for Nando. He'll try to armlet toggle. He won't be able to get it done though. That'll be 1 life, but can they get the second? Silence is there, Sanity's dropped. It's not enough, Nando. He's still trying to armlet toggle and just get himself out of there. Astral will save, buy him more time. Maybe they can get him out. Zhao Yu is still trying to burn out. He's just trying, but he is going to end up going down, and they cannot kill Nando. He makes it. This Young God, yeah, he is still chased by Carlo, but instead they're going to try after Yoe, who's out of mana again. Flame Break, it will not connect. Can't believe Nando gets out.
Yeah, they took the first life. They don't have enough to follow through for the second. The saves are there from Kimizu, and that's the OD without Ags. That's only 1 charge of Astral. Imagine if he had multiple. that fight would have gone a lot worse for TNC a lot earlier. That did force the buyback from Carlo. So our Pangolier's not going to have backup, but who really cares? It's a support Pango at this game. Him coming back in enabled them to get the counter control back and force TNC away. TNC in a very precarious spot. High ground's open. No Roshan to play for yet, but Nando's got the damage.
Oh, Bob. Yeah, and they've got Young God. Bob, he's going to just refresh up, just try to go for the BKB and turn onto the Batrider, but Bob's got his own BKB out. Nether Strike, it will land Bebby. He may have set up here onto the Bat. He is still standing, though, with the Rupture out. He just won't move. They haven't finished him off yet. Astro will be there, and Nando, he gets Young God down. Onto Play Hard he goes. That'll be another. In fact, Bebby, he's not going to make it out either. And Bob survives, John. They just did not pump out the damage as Rod of Atos on a creep wave now. Ooh. Yeah, Nando, he'll be brought back with the Vortex. This could be the last-ditch team fight. He's going to try again to run out. Can they kill him this time? We've seen this before. He'll be fine.
I'm just surprised. It felt like they had Bob. They had the sentry ward already down. They knew the Batrider was standing there. They didn't go down from the high ground. There was a bit of a disconnect where Febby was willing to charge in. He was at the back, but they just ignored Bob. Maybe worried about the counterplay. It ends up working Execration's way. You don't find a kill in the bat. You don't really get anything in exchange there for TNC, except for that one Wraith King life. But again, it doesn't matter if you don't manage to clean up Nando. And TNC, they need to start finding something. You've seen them get the kills with this pick-off when they zip in, when they've got the charge going. I still feel like they have the items to find single targets. They need to find better targets in the region. Even a kill on Vincenzo, as silly as it sounds, because it's Ench, she's worth more than Xiao Yu. So you're still going to get a good gold bump from killing off an Ench. Just find some of those easier kills to build up here for TNC and try to go from there.
Looks like both teams are kind of waiting out that next Roshan now as Bob, he does get a nice regen rune for himself. Roshan is up in 45, and it's going to be TNC's job to try and counter this Roshan, as it does seem like Execration are going to be well and truly in position to have first dibs on that Rosh. I say that, they are heading to the mid lane. Bob, he might find another lasso target. Young God is around, but he won't go too far. Keeps his distance. And Execration again, their eyes are set on Roshan. Still 20 seconds left for it, but they are not going to leave this area until it does spawn up. We'll see how TNC fights it, but without these buybacks available, you might just be stuck on your high ground and you might have to rely on that high ground defense.
I think they will have to. Like, they don't have the forward vision outside to play anyway. They have no info as to where Execration's playing on the map. Execration have all these massive wards watching that top jungle, watching the entry points, watching the smoking spots as well on mid. It's going to be very hard for TNC to contest. And that Roshan is up. Not going to take long here for Execration to clean that up. Lots of damage coming through from Nando and Kimizu. We've got the Ags up now on the OD as well, Mike. So, Ags up, double Astral Imprisonments, lots of save potential there. I am a bit sad that they do give Bob the Ag shard. I just feel like if you want to have fun, give it to Kimizu just to really put them on edge. But of course, the Flame Break is a big tool for Bob to deal some damage out into Poke and Prod. And TNC now definitely high ground hold. They can play pretty well there with Bloodright. I think ideally you'd say have a lot more gold than Yoe. Maybe if you had Ags, the high ground defense would look a lot better. But that's a pipe dream for the Storm at this point.
That it is. And right now, you're just trying to work on towards that BKB. Just try to remain alive as a Storm. I think that's probably the most important aspect here. TNC. As Execration, I mean, they're not going to try and force an immediate high ground attempt. They are going to just control the map, keep escalating that net worth lead that they already have. There's just no real reason to force things that you don't need to. I mean, you've still got a Blink Dagger to come out on Carlo. Still got a Swift Blink to come out on Nando. I mean, there's plenty of items to farm up here. And even that shard you talked about on Kimizu, John, he'll have it sooner or later. Though I don't think they need it to have fun in this game. I mean, they are 25k ahead. 26-10, John. I'm sure Execration are having a lot of fun right now. But shards will be coming eventually.
You know, I'm wondering now, if Batrider sharded up with Firefly, does he still burn the ground? Astral Imprisoned shard? Can he walk around? That sounds so dumb.
We'll see how good of a mood Ice Frog's in tonight, shall we? We'll see. I'm sure we'll find out if Mizu does get the shards in time. There's Nando. They are slowly starting to move their way up. Lasso, it's going to be there. They've got the Razor straight off the bat. Astral to make sure Bebby can't charge either. Yoe though, he's jumped in. Kamizu dropping low. Can they save him? Astral's going to be there. Is even Bob with the Rupture has not dropped. And even a Sanity's on the tail end of that with the Flame Break. Might be enough for Play Hard. Not quite. They will make it back to the fountain in time. The tier 3 tower is going to drop. They'll continue to try and clear out creep waves, but Nando, he does not care. In fact, he's jumped in. Look at the damage output. Xiao Yu, one hit away from going down, and there's that one hit we talked about. Stebby, he tried to charge in and help out, but he's been trapped up now by Carlo. Yoe, he'll do the same, but it's just not effective.
Ooh.
Not against the right kicks of Nando. Do you go for another?
They could go tier 4 honestly, but they'll play it safe. They'll go for the bot set of racks. The defense choices for TNC is kind of shot down. At the least, when their Bloodseeker's back up, they will have Rupture again, so they can try. They can keep trying to poke and prod with Yoe. They are focused on a different lane right now. It looks like they are willing to surrender the bot set racks. Play for top, wait for the respawns. At least you have more bodies to throw out, but at this point, I don't think Execration can be stopped. Like, maybe you're a bit too low on mana for Bob. Otherwise, you still have everything ready to go. Santi's not really required right now to win these fights, and they'll just go for it. So you do have Xiao Yu back. He's got the Rupture. You don't have Bebby to charge in.
Oh, Lasso again. Bob, he's just so on point with these. He's got the Razor. Young God's gone for 100 with no buyback. Bob, he's just a sharpshooter, Johnny. He's just quick on the trigger. The Execration into that final lane of barracks, and yeah, that's it, GG. A bit anticlimactic, but Execration, they were always in control of this game. It was never really close.
Yeah. Execration just understood what they had to do there. They focused in on the mid matchup the most, I think, but they had really strong side lanes as well. Kimizu performed spectacularly on the OD with all of his saves coming out, but I think the big star really was Bob. Like, he managed to find the spots he had to go in and, lock in. He prevented Yoe from building up. And that Orchid timing was so stalled out from the Storm that they couldn't play around. They couldn't look for those charges in with an instant silence and pick off. And Vincenzo as well, cutting off the entire jungle by himself, prevented TNC from really finding catch-up farm at all.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Vincenzo, like, you don't generally look at the POS 5 as, say, the MVP, but he just completely shut down this Storm, absolutely giving zero chance of recovery after that terrible landing stage against Bob. And I mean, at one point, this Storm was quite ahead in CS, but once that jungle just was taken away from him, he just never caught up. With that, though, John, we are going to head to a short break, and well, after we're back from that break, we'll be able to catch up as to what happened with this game number 1. We'll see you then.